Aboard the Queen Mary, and as you look around the ship today, if you keep a lookout for these little fasteners, you'll notice these in bulkheads and columns throughout the ship. These are really evidence of how rough the ride could get, because when the weather was bad enough, the crew would attach additional ropes or lines here to provide extra handholds for the passengers. So I just can't help but imagine, first class passengers walking through these areas when the sea was rough. They're all dressed up in tuxedos and beautiful ball gowns, and yet they're having to work their way across the decks, hanging on for their lives. This area that we are in is known as the main hall. It was sometimes nicknamed Piccadilly Circus after the famous traffic circle in London. This was the main shopping area for first class passengers, and we're still getting some work done and getting things reopened. But when we get everything completed, these shops will reopen once again, and it will be a shopping center once more. And that's one of the things I think is really interesting about the Queen Mary today. Aside from crossing the ocean, obviously, many of these areas are still operating in the same way that they did, and so we keep some traditions going here aboard the ship. But I'll tell you what we used to have in these areas. Originally, back in 1936, over there on the port side of the ship, that corner shop was a tobacco and candy shop. Here on the starboard side, this was the W.H. Smith & Sons bookstore. And then just forward of that, we would have found the first class library. That's the gift shop we do have open today. And on this side, we have the first class drawing room. These rooms, the library and drawing room, doubled as chapels. They would have church services in these areas of the ship on Sunday mornings. Now, this area was typically for first class passengers only. And most of the time, second and third class passengers could not come here. However, they would make exceptions to allow second and third class passengers to attend those services on Sundays. And so we've heard rumors that, not unsurprisingly, many second and third class passengers became a little more religious when they were aboard the Queen Mary and decided to attend those services so they could also get a good look at first class. The shop that we have in the center here was originally the exclusive Austin Reed men's clothing store. And when we look above that shop, there you see one of the original pieces of artwork. That decorative band or frieze was created by an artist named Maurice Lambert. We actually can find a number of examples of his artwork here aboard the Queen Mary. This particular piece is made from reinforced plaster that was then pressure wax treated so that it gives the impression of being sculpted from ivory or stone. This piece is titled Sport and Speed. And when you look at the imagery in this piece of artwork, you notice he's depicting athletic people, animals, and machines that are all moving very fast. I think this piece especially reflects the goals of the Queen Mary. When this ship was being built, she was built to claim the Blue Riband, that speed record for crossing the Atlantic. And of course, not only did she achieve that goal, she held the record for 14 years until a ship called the SS United States came along and broke the Queen Mary's speed record. Interestingly enough, the SS United States is still the Blue Riband holder today. All right, let's go. Of course, they don't really go after that anymore, so that's part of the reason.
They don't even call it the Blue Riband anymore. It's the Hales Trophy nowadays.